This is what happens when the fourth turning meets fifth-generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king.
Details in the deadly National Guard ambush investigation.
We believe he could have been radicalized in his home community and in his home state.
Ramanella Lakanawal of Afghanistan facing murder in the first degree after 20-year-old Sarah Backstrom died from gunshot wounds sustained when he allegedly opened fire on her and her fellow West Virginia National Guardsman, Andrew Wolf.
Andrew is fighting for his life right now.
I said, when you're ready, because it's a tough thing. Come to the White House, we're going to honor Sarah.
Another Afghan national is facing state terror charges in Texas after DHS says he plotted to make a bomb with the intention of targeting the Fort Worth area. He was arrested on Tuesday, the day before the D.C. shooting.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any?
We don't want those people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is that a year, 2 years?
No time limit. But it could be a long time.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle say they support congressional reviews of U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats that we've been reporting on for months. A report from the Washington Post now claims Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave a verbal order to leave no survivors before the first boat strike back in September. When 2 people on board survived, a second strike was allegedly ordered.
Amid the increase in operations at a naval base in Puerto Rico, President Trump posted, "Please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety." While the U.S. can't unilaterally close another country's airspace, the Federal Aviation Administration has been warning airlines for weeks to avoid the area due to increased military activity.
Trump issued a dire threat to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Get out now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily. We're here live on Real America's Voice. Ladies and gentlemen, how was your Thanksgiving weekend? Mine was great. Went to visit Valley Forge yet again. We had an absolutely wonderful time while we were there. Went to see the place where America was tested, where the American troops, 12,000 of them, including General Washington himself, were put to the test over one of the harshest winters, the harshest winter of the entire Revolutionary War. From that ground, that frozen tundra, thousands of American patriots died just waiting out the war, waiting out the winter. No battles were fought, only the battle of will. The battle against the elements. Picture it. You're not getting paid. You don't have shoes. You have a makeshift hut to keep you warm and whatever wood you can chop down to make a fire. Boston is lost. New York is lost. Philadelphia is occupied. The British Army is only about 25 miles away. You got a couple of cannons. You better make sure they can shoot. You better make sure that they're not going to come in with horse. You got it all. So when we took the kids there, I taught them about that. Explained to them the sacrifice of the men, the sacrifice of the patriots, the sacrifice of it all. Because if not for what they did, laying down their lives for us, laying down the lives for their future generations, we would not have the country we have today. But did they quit? Did they desert? No, they didn't quit. They didn't desert. You know why? Because General Washington needed them. And they stood there with General Washington, and they crossed the Delaware with Washington on Christmas night. And they marched on Trenton with General Washington. And they kept pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually they won and they had a country of their own. That's the kind of patriotism that you need. You need the patriotism of Valley Forge. You need to be the type of patriot to say, I will not go anywhere. I will stand and fight no matter what. Think of it. Martha Washington walking around, darning the socks for the men, trying to keep them in there. Von Steuben, Mad Anthony Wayne, General Lafayette, and in fact, General Pulaski as well, a Polish hussar to train the new American cavalry in the way that the Polish hussars have fought for hundreds of years. If you mean to be the descendants of those patriots, then you need to be worthy of the example of those patriots. You need to be worthy of the fight they fought for. And let me tell you something right now. We're going to talk about this today. Those patriots were not fighting for some multicultural, multi-interfaith experiment. No. They were fighting for the Christian God. And they were fighting so that their descendants would have a country that was strong, that was prosperous, that was successful, and that achieved greatness and excellence and was respected around the world. And don't let them try to tell you otherwise. Don't let them try to tell you that those men were fighting for some, multicultural experiment. That's nonsense. That is Marxist propaganda. They were fighting for the United States of America. We know what they were fighting for. We know because they told us. We'll be right back to talk about this and more. Jack Posobiec, Human Events Daily.